What are the weaknesses or perceived weaknesses in you that you think your opponents are going to focus on in the weeks and months ahead?
Well, I'm not going to. I have a lot of weaknesses and a lot of flaws, and I make a lot of mistakes. But I'm certainly not going to give them out to you today or to my opponent. But I can tell you that I've never known my opponent to run a campaign that hasn't been focused on the negative. So I would fully expect that this campaign will be focused, as his previous campaigns have been, on me and less on him.
You're talking about it in the singular, your opponent and not opponents. I'm wondering why you choose.
I'm running a race against Paul Kanjorski, and that's why I'm running the race.
I've read that you've supported him in the past, and I just wondered, that was 2 years ago, I guess?
Yes. Yeah, general election.
When people say that you supported him, was that financially or otherwise, or what?
No, I mean, I supported him in the general election against Lou Barletta. I think a few things. Number one, I think that was the right decision at the time to support him over Lou Barletta. A lot of things have changed since 2008 with our economy, with the bank bailouts, a whole host of things. But I also think that we just need to, and one of the things was the election. I mean, election night, when I think there were probably 5 people in this region who thought he was going to win, and I don't think he was one of them, that I think I saw at that point the fact that I didn't believe without Barack Obama that my opponent could win again. I think the numbers are fairly clear with respect to that. We have an overwhelmingly Democratic district here. It's 56-32, Democrat to Republican. He won by 3 percentage points. That means 21% of Democrats went to Lou Barletta in the general election. So I think with the coattails of Barack Obama won the district by 15 percentage points, and my opponent won by 3. So I think that this was the time. He had mentioned to me and others that was his last run, and we took him at his word at that point. And I think that we need to move forward in a new way in order to ensure that our region moves in an exciting new direction. And there's a lot of ways that my opponent and I differ, and one of those is the fact that I have young children. And I'm just at a different point in my life thinking about different things. And it's amazing how selfish we are before we're parents. But then what I've found is that my life now is all focused in on what they're up to. And my son playing t-ball this year for the first time, my daughter, doing dance and doing other things, and how I'm always thinking about them. And now I'm thinking about their future and whether they're going to have an opportunity to live here moving forward. I want that to happen. But right now, they'd be if they grew up today, they'd be the first generation in this country's history not to do as well as their parents. And I think that's unacceptable. And we can change that. But the only way we can change that is through a long-term plan, and we don't have one. We don't have one in this region. Since coal, I want somebody in this room, and I'm a county commissioner. I can't tell you what our plan is long-term for our region. I can't tell you. Maybe somebody in this room can, but I can't. So I don't know what it is. I don't necessarily think that it's my responsibility to determine that. I think it's all of us collectively have to sit down, business leaders, media, community activists, elected officials, sit down and talk about where our region's going. We are no longer on an island. Luzerne County is not an island from Lackawanna. Lackawanna is not an island from Luzerne. Monroe is not an island from Carbon. We are one region. I think a lot of people who are not from here see that. I mean, they don't even see the barrier, but there still remains a little bit of a barrier. And I think that our futures are linked, and we will only be successful if we have one regional vision and regional goal. And I think we can develop that. But that's something we need to be focused on, because no matter who sits in this chair, whoever the elected officials are, they need to have a roadmap. This is what we're doing. This was well thought out. This is our regional plan for the future. Here you go. Here's the book. Get us these things. Work on this. So that we are all reading from the same sheet of music. That's critically important. I mean, we can continue to just go to Washington, go to Harrisburg, all these are, and just bring back, hey, brought this back today, brought this back. This is great. Now, how does this fit in? We can do that. And that's what we've been doing around here. We can do that, and that's okay. But I think our time and effort would be better spent if we had a regional plan that then we all opened it up and we took our few pages and we worked on bringing those things back. Realistic things, but we focused on bringing those specific things back. And I think that that's important moving forward.
I want to ask you about some of those issues, your Main Street project being one of them, but a couple more campaign questions. If
Sure.
you may first.
Yeah, sure.
One, how much are you expecting to spend in the primary?
Well, we've raised $350,000 so far. We're going to raise more. I'm not going to get into specific numbers, but we're going to spend as much as we need to spend in order to win.
And through the entire race, including the general, what do you estimate that it might cost to run a campaign?
It's going to be expensive, but again, I'm not going to, I don't want to foreshadow or help my opponent's budget, but we will raise the amount of funds that we need to win the race, and we'll spend what we need to win.
Do you have personal restrictions on who you'll accept money from? Is there any entity that you would not accept money from?
Not at this point. I mean, as we move forward, that'll be, I think, a little bit clearer, and there may be some of those type of things. But I'm running right now against somebody with, probably in this report, he's probably going to announce he had $1 million at the end of last year. He's probably going to have $1.5 million probably in the bank. I'm running against somebody who's got an unlimited war chest. So I'm trying to raise as much money as I can. I have not placed any specific restrictions on that because, unfortunately, the system's broken. I mean, make no mistake. I mean, this should not be the way that campaigns are run, where I have to spend 80% or 90% of my time raising money to get the message out. I mean, this is outrageous. I should be spending 90% of my time talking to you and others and talking about the race and not having to spend money. He's got to do less of that because it just kind of, I guess, just flows in Washington. As of December 31st, he only raised money from 4 people in the district. All of his other money came from Washington. So I'm battling against somebody who's got an unlimited war chest, and now the corporations can give too, and I've been banging Wall Street a little bit. I'm assuming when they see this video online that now these Wall Street corporations are going to roll in here too. So I think he'll have as much money as he needs to have to do anything he can to me. So I'm just in a more of a defensive posture and just trying to raise as much money as possible to be able to get our message out. But it's broken. The system's broken. It needs to be fixed. I mean, this is. I never thought that it would be this much time you'd have to expend worrying about raising money. I mean, maybe I'm just a little bit naive with respect to raising the money. But I just don't think, it just strikes me as being a little bit backwards.